Yo, what is up? So in this tutorial, we're going to be adding our player stats. So, this is just where we're going to keep all our stats. We're going to make a blueprint component and add them in here. So we've got attributes we're going to be adding. We've got defense we're going to be adding. We got resistances we're going to be adding. Attack power and our flask. And yeah, let's just hop into it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to hop over here into our content folder. We're going to make a new folder called Blueprints. And then we're going to open that up, and then we're going to make right click, go to Blueprint class, and we're going to make something that is called a actor component. And basically what an actor component is it says right here, an actor component is a reusable component that can be added to any actor. So basically, we're just going to be using this to kind of keep our third-person character clean. You may have seen in a lot of tutorials, people just add all of their code inside of the player blueprint. And an actor component is a way so that you can add this code into the component and then add this component onto the player. And it's just gonna help, keep things clean and organized. So let's just go ahead and make the actor component. We're gonna call this player stats underscore CP. And then we're gonna go down to our third person blueprints, open it up, and we're just gonna go ahead and add this component. We've actually already seen components when we set up our metahuman. If you remember, we added this LOD sync, and this is a component. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna add, and we're just gonna type in player stats, and we're gonna add our player stats component here. So now that is a part of our player character. So we can just close this down for now. We're gonna go back to our blueprints folder. We're gonna open up the player stats. So what we're going to be doing in here is we're just going to be adding all the variables that we need for our player stats. So I've got some references here of some of the stats we're going to be needing. Since we're using Elden Ring as a template, we need to add basically all of these stats. So that's what we're going to be doing. So first things first, we'll start with our player name. So we'll go to the variables, add a variable. We're going to call this player name. And then we're going to change this from a boolean to a name. And a name is just, it's a name. It's, something you could type in. If you look at the default values here after you compile, it is, you can just name your character in there. We'll keep that blank for now, though. Next one we're going to add is our level. So we're going to add a variable. We're going to call this level. And we're going to change this to an integer. And what an integer is it's basically just a whole number. So if you compile and go over here and you type in 1 or 2 or 3, you can type that in. But if you try to type in, say, 2.3, it does not work because integers are whole numbers. So for now, we're just going to set our level to level 1. We're going to be a level 1 wretch, our base character is. And then we're going to add this one, runes held. So we'll add a variable, call it runes held. And compile, we'll leave that default value to to 0, not serial. I mean, serial could be cool, but no. We're going to leave that 0. And then we're going to add a new variable called runes needed. And this will be how many runes you need to level up. So a level 1 wretch in Elden Ring starts off needing 673 runes. So we're just gonna add that in, 673 as our default runes needed. And then we need, we're going to add these attribute points here. So vigor, mind, endurance, strength, dexterity, intelligence, faith, and arcane. So for each one of these, we need to add 2 variables. One that will be our current, and then one that will be our max. So we'll go ahead and add our current vigor. And then we'll just duplicate that. and call it max vigor. And all of our max variables, we're gonna set to 99. This will be the max that you can get. And for an Elden Ring, if you start off as a Wretch, all of these points start off as a 10. So for all of our current ones, we're gonna set these to 10. So click on that and then set the default value to 10. And now the next one will be our mind. So current mind, and we'll set that to 10, and then we'll add a variable called max mind. Compile, we'll set that to 99, and then we will add our endurance. So add a variable current endurance. Compile, we'll set that to 10. Add a variable max endurance. Compile, that will be 99. And next we need our strength. So we'll add a variable current strength. Compile, we'll set that to 10. And add a variable max strength. We will make that 99. And then next we need our dexterity. So add a variable current dexterity. Compile, we'll set that to 10. And add a variable max dexterity. Compile, we'll set that to 99. Next will be our intelligence. So add a variable current intelligence. Yeah, I don't know why I do that. I added an R in there. Intelligence. Compile, and we will add, we'll make that 10. Add a variable max intelligence. We'll compile, make that 99. And next is going to be our faith. So add a variable current faith. Compile, we'll make that 10. We'll add a variable max faith. Compile, we'll make that 99. And next we need our arcane. So we'll make a variable current arcane. Compile, we'll make that 10. Add a variable max arcane. Compile, and we'll make that 99. So something else we're gonna do to kind of keep these organized is we're gonna put these into categories, kind of like you saw in the first at the beginning of the video where I had these little drop down arrows to open all of these. It's just gonna be another way for us to keep this stuff a little bit organized. So just click on up here on the player name. We're gonna go over here to category, and we're just gonna call this attributes. And we're gonna add all of these variables to that category. So you're gonna have to click on each one and then move them to the category. Cool. Now we can compile and save. So we're gonna add probably a few more to this, because if you look over here on the right, we have these base stats. You could make a new category for these if you want. Actually, yeah, we could set a new category for those. So we'll just you can click down on the arrow here to get rid of the attributes, and then we're gonna make a new variable, which is gonna be our HP. So we will add our current HP, and same for here. We need to add two variables for these. So current HP, starting off in Elden Ring as a level 1 wretch, is 438. So we're gonna set it to 438. And then I've already done some math to kind of figure out what the max HP would be. So in the beginning, when you start the game, until you hit the soft cap, which is level once you hit 60 on vigor, it adds about 22 points of HP. So we can just do the math on that real quick. So just pull out a calculator real quick. So 22 times we're already at vigor 10, so we need to do 22 times 50. That gives us 1100 plus what's already there, which will be 438. So that gives us 1538. And then once you hit soft cap, which is at about level 60, it gives you about 5 HP per level. So we will add 5. So 99 subtract 60. So 99 subtract 60. That gives us 39 levels we need to add that to. So 5 times 39 is 195 plus 1538, which is 1733. So we're going to add a variable, call this max HP, and we'll compile. And then for this default value, we will set to 1733. So now we need to do the same thing for the FP. So we'll make a new variable, current FP, which is going to be focus points. And in Elden Ring, when you start off, you get 78 FP. So we will set that to 78. And then we need to do that math again. So add a variable. We're going to call this max FP. And I'm just going to assume you get, I didn't do the math on this one, so I'm not too sure. We're just going to do the math here. I'm going to assume you get about the same points added, or at least that's what we're going to do. So say 22 times 50, that gives us 1100 plus 78, so 1178 before we get to the soft cap. And then once we get to the soft cap, we need 5 times 39 plus 1178, which is 1373. So we'll just compile that. 1373 will be our max right there. And now we need our stamina, so we'll make a new variable called current stamina, and that gave us, what was it, 70? No, it's 96. So we'll compile. We will make that 96. And we'll just do the same kind of math on this. So that will be 22 times 50, which is 1100. And plus 5 times 39, 195 plus 1100 plus what is already there, which is 96. So that will be 1,391. 1,391. And I just want to double check my math on this. Max. Oh, whoops. That's going to be our max, actually. Let me just duplicate this. And we'll call this max stamina. And then we'll leave our current stamina at, what was it, 96? 96. And let me just double check the math on this right here. Okay, so yeah, we actually need to add some more to that. So we need to add, I forgot to add the current FP to that. So 1,300. 1,373 plus 78, which will give us 1,451. So 1,451 will actually be our max FP. That's my bad. Alright, so next we need our equip load. So we're gonna make a variable. These, if you notice on the equip load, it says 48.2 is the max. So what we're gonna do is, instead of adding an integer, we need to make these floats. So we're gonna call this current equip load, and we're gonna change this to a float. And what a float is basically the example I just gave. Instead of this being whole numbers, you can add decimal points. So say like 3.2, we can add that now instead of it just being a whole number. But current equip load, we're gonna set that to 0 for now because we don't have any equipment yet. And then we're gonna add a new variable called max equip load, which is 48.2. So compile, and we'll make this 48.2. And what else do we need? So now we need poise, discovery, and memory slots. So poise is going to be an integer, discovery will be a float, and memory slots will be an integer. So we need to add poise, and we'll make this an integer. And off the rip you get 0, right? Yeah, 0. Okay. So poise, we'll leave that 0. Next one is discovery. So we'll make this discovery, and we will set this to a float, which will be 110. So we'll set the max or current to 110. And memory slots, so we'll add our memory slots, add a variable called memory slots, which is going to be an integer, a whole number. And by default, you get 2 of those. So we'll just set that. And I think that's it for those. So yeah, like before, we're going to make a new category here called, what did they call it? Base stats. Yeah. So we'll click on one of the variables, go over here on the categories, and we're going to call this base stats. And we'll add all of these to that base stats category. Alright, so now we need to add our attack power. So we will make a new variable. These are all going to be integers. So we'll make a new variable called armament 1 attack power. And we'll compile, and the default for all of these are 22. This one is higher because I have a weapon in my hand in this example, but by default it's all 22. So we're gonna set it to 22. Then we're just gonna we can tick down on this base stat to make that go away. So now we're just gonna duplicate this, and we're gonna change this to R armament 2 attack power. Compile, save. Then we'll duplicate it again and change this to R armament 3 attack power. Then we're gonna duplicate it again, and we're gonna change this from 3 to 1, and this will be our L armament 1. And then we're just gonna duplicate that and change this to L armament 2, and then duplicate that and change this to L armament 3, and we'll compile. And now we're gonna make it its own category, which we'll call attack power. So click on a variable, go over here to the categories, and we're gonna set the category to attack power, and we'll add all of these variables to that category. And we will compile and save. We can close that category down. And next we need our defense. So we will add a variable. First one's going to be physical defense. So we'll add that. Physical defense. And I think all of these are floats. Yeah, these will all be floats. So we'll change this to a float. And by default, we will have 0. So, yeah. So the next one will be strike defense. So we'll add that variable, strike defense. And then the next one will be slash defense. And the next one will be pierce defense. And the next one will be magic defense. The next one will be fire defense, and then lightning, and then holy. So fire defense, we'll add a variable, lightning defense, and holy defense. And same as before, we're going to make a category for these. So just click on a variable, go over here to the categories, and we will call this defense space slash space damage space negation. And we'll add all of these variables to that category. And we will compile and save. And now we just have our resistances to add. We have 4 of these: immunity, robustness, focus, and vitality. All of these will be integers. So we'll make a variable called immunity. We will change this to an integer. Compile and save. And then we'll just make a new variable called robustness. Compile and save, and I think by default, yeah, they're all 0 by default. So we'll add focus, and then what's the last one? Vitality. Vitality. And again, we're gonna make a new category for this. So click on one of the variables. We're gonna call this, what is it? Resistance. So we'll call this category resistance. Then we'll add all of these variables into that category. Compile and save. And now we're just gonna add another one for our flask. So we're gonna make a new variable called HP flask, and it's gonna be an integer, and we'll compile. And by default in Elden Ring, you get 3. And then we're gonna add a new variable called FP flasks, and by default in Elden Ring, you get 1 of those. So 1. So compile and save, and we're just gonna make another category called flasks, and we'll add these to that category. And yeah, that's kind of it. We got all our stats kind of started. So yeah, that's all we're gonna do in this one. So if you like the video, hit the like button. If you're new around here, definitely subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know those down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.